today, which is going to make it a bit difficult for us to, as POC members, to heal from such experiences.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Next question. Do you think the concept of not seeing color is effective in our society?
I do not agree with that statement one bit. Like, it's not disrespect because I feel like the person who said that first,
Mhm.
I want to believe that they meant good. I do want to
Yeah.
believe they meant good, but the fact is, in America right now, you cannot go around saying you don't see color because color affects everything in America or even all over the world. It affects everything because if you think about it, like going back centuries ago, if there were white people, if white people originated from America, like if white people were the first people, it would not be like this. It would not be like this.
Mhm. Mhm.
But the first people that originated were black people, at least from Africa. Like I'm like, again, like the person that first said this, I do believe he or she meant good, but you cannot say that you don't see color because the color affects every single thing you do all over the
Yes.
world. Like it can be me versus a white person and we have the same credentials, everything the same. And who's gonna get that job? The white person, most likely. Like color
Yes.
affects everything. And there every time something is brought up, people are like, oh my God, why do you have to bring race into it? Well, race is literally moved into everything surrounding everything, literally.
Mhm.
Because
Mhm.
if we were
Yeah,
all just
that's true.
clear, like clear skinned, then we would have no problem. And because this world, this place that we live in is built on, it's built on racism. It's built on man. Like I can understand like somebody being selfish, like that's part of human nature. But racism is a whole other type of selfishness. So walking around
Mhm.
saying that, oh, you don't see color, that's you're not seeing my problems that I go through. You're not seeing the systemic things that I'm gonna have to face simply because of the color of my skin. You're not seeing all the things I'm gonna have to go through just because I'm black and you're white. You're not seeing all these factors that go into my life just because I'm darker than you. So going around you saying you don't see color, it's not good in my book at least. It's not good in my book.
No, I agree with you. I also believe that the statement isn't effective enough as well. So, and your points are really, really good. I really love what you said about the whole concept.
Thank you.
The next question is, how can a black male child overcome the stereotype of society associating black men with criminal activity and violence?
Well, I cannot. I have a brother, but I cannot. I don't want to say I can't speak for the black male, but I cannot. Like seeing from my brother's point of view, again, like
Yeah.
we live in a community and we go to a school in a community where it's very diverse. Like if you're caught
Yes.
being racist to somebody, they will most likely beat you up, or you will have like apart from like consequences from the school, you will have consequences all around you. So it
Yes.
hasn't really happened, but like seeing social media, the news and stuff like that, it's like just prove them wrong. Like my mother always told me, yes, there are going to be things that are going to stop you in this world, but you can always prove them wrong. Like just prove them wrong. Like you might not be able to stop that person from being racist to you. Prove them wrong. Get what you want to get that they said that you can't get. So I cannot say because just like they put together black male and violence, they put together black girl, loud and ghetto. So from that
Yes.
point of view, it's like there are two parts to every human being, good part and a bad part. You cannot differentiate those two simply because somebody is black or simply because somebody is white. That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. You call black girl ghetto because she's loud and because she's saying what she wants to say because she's very opinionated. But you see all these other white females, Hillary Clinton, like what about all things that she did, fake whatever. Like I'm not even really into politics, but are you gonna call her loud and ghetto because she wanted to run for president? No. So why are you calling me ghetto? Because I'm saying what I want to say.
Yes.
Like the word even ghetto is like it's an insult and it should not be because it's AAVE. Like it should not be used against us, just like the N-word. All these things
Yes.
they're so belligerent and it's crazy that people want to use that against people when they're doing the exact thing that you're doing. It's just because we're different skin color. It's so dumb.
Yes, I think you're right. From the first point you made that in your community that if a person would, be racist towards another person, etc., that it would be they would be taken care of, if I can say that, or disciplined by not just the school but the entire community as well. So I think basically it's a community effort as well for us to overcome that stereotype as well. And as well, in your second point, to prove them wrong that, I'm not really what you think I am. I'm
Yeah.
actually, yeah, that. Okay. We're almost done. So the next question is, we know that everyone is guilty of forming racial stereotypes, but we also know that we can control our stereotypes. Name at least one way we can try to abstain from forming racial stereotypes.
Honestly, like again, I don't want to be like I'm blaming everything on white people or I'm always like putting my blame on somebody else. It's just that overcoming stereotypes is not something you can do in a day. It's not something you can do in a week, or it's not something that you can do in a month. And also forming stereotypes, like trying to get rid of the thing that forms stereotypes in your brain, it's not going to go away in a day. It's not going to go away in a week. It's not going to go away in a month. So as I've said before, as I've admitted to multiple people, I said, listen, if you're a new white person, you're walking up to me, in my head, I'm going to ask myself, do I need to know if this person likes me as a person? Do I need to know if this person is racist? And yes, I'm going to say that. But the reason why I believe it's justified is because there have been counts on evidence upon evidence upon evidence that a white person is more likely to dislike another person because of their skin color than a black person doing the same. But the reason I'm doing it, I don't know if this is about most black people because I can only speak for myself and only the community that I represent. As in my mindset, also, I can only say that if I look at another black person, I'm gonna be like, oh yeah, buddies, like off the bat, because that's how what I've seen, that's how black people relate. You cannot know each other. If you're in the midst of people you don't know, you see a black person and you're black, that's your buddy. Like that's your automatic buddy. But if you see a white person, it's just like, man, like, do you want to go up to them? Like, what if they don't like black people, stuff like that. So I think again, it's everybody, it's unity. If people do not unify, the forming of stereotypes will continue to rise, and that's just a fact. Because if you're always trying to fight each other, trying to prove which one is better than each other, all stereotypes are going to continue rising. And no matter how little and stupid you might think they are, they have come from something way bigger than that. Like the stereotype of black people always liking chicken and watermelon, that came from they were slaves, they had nothing else to eat and stuff like that. Like it comes from bigger pictures, and like they just keep plucking and plucking and plucking different stereotypes. Just like a stereotype of, oh, white people can't season their food. Although, yes, that can be used as a joke, but it comes from a bigger stereotype. Like it's things like that that are like people are like, oh no, it's only a little joke, but look at the bigger picture. It's only a little joke, but look at the bigger picture. So I just think unity is the answer right now.
Okay, great. Thank you so much for that. Why is it important for people to be aware of their harmful of the harmful stereotypes they've created?
Yeah. Again, it's like if you're not aware of what you're saying, then I don't even know why you're speaking. It's like it's like the golden rule: treat the people the way you want to be treated. If you say something to somebody that's supposed to be offensive, I'm sorry, but in my book, you should not be getting mad when they say something offensive back because you started it. Just like this thing, if you make a stereotype about somebody, you say it out loud, and you say like, "Oh, that's why your father is in your life." Don't be mad when that black person comes up to you and beats you up. Like that's all. And I'm not saying it because I want a white person to get beat up or something. I'm saying it because if you continue throwing out all these racially based stereotypes, but then you don't want the consequences, that's not their fault. There are so many things that can put, like, I cannot speak for a white person, which is why when I get into debates or arguments with people people of not color or just white people in general, I tell them, listen, you might go through stuff, but I'm telling you from my point of view. I can only talk for myself and the black people that I represent, just like you can only talk from a white person. So when I'm trying to tell you that this is what I go through, you cannot sit here and say you don't go through that because you do not live in my shoes. Just like I cannot sit here and go and look at you and say you don't go through that unless there are things behind it. But that's the thing. There are two different cases, which is why I guess people can say it's an unfair argument. But there are two different places here. white people, they were built on wealth, money, and land. We were built on serving those who were built on wealth, money, and land. So when you see a successful Black person, you praise them.
Yes.
The Black community, we praise successful Black people because we knew how hard they probably had to work 2 times harder than the next person. And when we see a white person, successful white person, you guys should also do that. You guys should praise them. But we're praising them you're praising them because, oh yeah, they're just, we're praising them because we know how hard we're gonna have to work and they had to work to get up to there.
Yeah.
So until you guys can understand that, you guys cannot understand where we are coming from. And yes, we can't, like as Black people, I cannot say that I understand where a white person is coming from, but I can use evidence and statistics to tell you that, okay, you're saying that you go through this, but this evidence is showing me different. But you cannot tell me that you go to racial discrimination because and yes, Black people can be discriminatory, like anybody can be discriminatory, but
That is true.
But systemically, you cannot tell me that you go through stuff systemically. Like there is no way you can go through stuff systemically because this system was literally built serving you. And I'm sorry if you cannot realize that as a white person, but this system was literally made to serve you. And it was made to not serve people of color. So until people realize that, I don't think we're gonna go very far.
I think you've made very important points, and the one point that I will take and I will just add on to a little bit is the part that we all need to understand where we're all coming from, because yes, us as POC members can be or are victims of racial stereotypes. And as well, people of non-color can also be victims as well of racial stereotypes. So two-way street is not just a one-way street where only the one person is suffering, but both parties are suffering. And I think it's quite important that we all understand where we come from. We all understand that, no, this person actually does feel pain or is hurt by a certain thing that was said to them, a certain discrimination against them, and just understanding it and giving each other a chance and keeping an open mind of each other's struggles as well. I think that's one of the important things that you've said, and I will agree on that as well. This is basically the end of our discussion. Thank you so much for participating and agreeing to talk with me, Stereotypes Dilemma, and for coming forward with such important and such great points. I think a lot of people out there will be able to learn from this, and they'll be able to realize the issue at hand and want to do something about it, not just in the community or externally, but as well internally, try and maybe change themselves internally to look at people with one eye, to see a person who is not of their kind, okay, to see them exactly the same way as they would see someone of the same skin color as them, and to see them as a buddy, like, hey bro, I think this has been one amazing and fruitful discussion. Thank you so much for joining.
No problem. Thank you.